So gradually, the 2023 year is coming to an end, and as the sports team, we are here to talk about all the events that has taken place, the controversial moments, the good moments, and obviously the sad moments, of course. I'm here with my colleagues, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves. On my left is
Emmanuel
and
Perez as well.
Well, guys, 2023 started with some great stuff, and one of our big events that we had in the year 2023 has to do with the Chan tournament, and the Black Galaxies, they went to the tournament, they didn't do well. Ima, your first take on that one?
I think the expectations were high, and we were all happy to see the local Black Stars qualify, but it didn't turn out how we wanted it to be. But hopefully we will deliver next time.
We will deliver next time, and I remember the coach was Great Olympics coach and Anna Walker. Then we also had the likes of House of Folks midfielder, Latin Awak. We've not seen him in a long while. But one of the great things that also happened in January was Andre Ayew joining Nottingham Forest. Did it come to you as a surprise, Perez?
Well, I think it was a bit surprising that he moved back to the Premier League, but it wasn't surprising if you look at the manager who recruited him, because he was his coach. When he was at Swansea, he felt that because he had worked with him before, he could help him, rediscover his form. But I mean, on hindsight, I'm sure if you give the coach another chance, I'm not sure it's a dude that he's going to, because he didn't turn out quite well. I don't think he scored a goal. He missed a couple of penalties, and so yes, it's a dude that wasn't too surprising, but sadly it didn't go well.
Well, away from Andre Ayew, then in February, we got one of the news that most people were yearning to hear. A new Black Stars coach has been appointed, and that was Coach Chris Hughton. Your take on that one?
Yeah, the Chris Hughton appointment, I think most of us thought it was a step in the right direction. Looking at his CV and what he has achieved as a coach, it seemed like a good decision. But right now, if you look at the team under Chris Hughton, I mean, we've all been disappointed and all that. But we are hoping that things will change at the AFCON. It was a good appointment back then, but looking at the situation now, it seems we seemingly made a mistake. Yeah.
Seemingly made a mistake. Well, then we also got Asafa Powell coming to Ghana with a wife. We've been talking a lot about the wife being Ghanaian and all. Perez, were you surprised that the world's fastest man was in Ghana?
I think it was quite perhaps one of my top 5 most defining sporting moments of 2023 to have a person of Power's caliber coming down here. You look at some of the activities that he undertook. I mean, he was interested in the development of athletics at the core level. I remember they did some programs at the University of Ghana, a few other places, and work with the GOC just to make sure they whip up interest and promote athletics in the country. So yes, it was a very good thing, and hopefully maybe one day we'll land Usain Bolt.
Well, hopefully one day Usain Bolt will be in Ghana. But away from athletics, then I think still in the month of March or April, the Black Meteors managed to qualify for the AFCON for the first time in a long while, and there was some new gem who came along with the Black Meteors squad. Ima?
Yeah, the Black Meteors, I mean, they made us believe that the national team has future. Looking at the quality in that team, Fatahu Shahaku, Ernest Nyama, Emmanuel Yeboah. I mean, they give us quite a lot of talent to look forward to. We were hoping they would go all the way to the final, but it didn't happen. But still, it's a team of potential, and we are hoping to see a number of them in the Black Stars soon. We have Fatah Ishaku and Ernest Miyama now. We are looking forward to having more from that team joining the Black Stars in the near future.
Well, the Black Stars also qualified for the AFCON, and that is not even a big news anymore, because we all expect the Black Stars to qualify. But Perez, let me have your take on the teams that joined the Ghana Premier League new season, Bofakwa and Hearts of Lions.
I think it was a good moment for Ghana football, especially having those so-called traditional teams coming back, Bofakwa especially, because that side of the country for me, the bonus side of the country is for me, it's the basically that's where most of our talents come from. So if you have Bofakwa and they are really, really love Diaspora, maybe aside the Ashanti region, that's perhaps our next, the region with a lot of teams for Ghana football. So it was nice to see them back in the Premier League, and it's also nice to see a lot of them doing quite well in the league. Actually, we just hope that they'll be able to keep their Premiership status, and a few other traditional teams will join in the subsequent years.
Well, so that is about the teams that join us in the Ghana Premier League. But out there on the international stages, we had Ampim Dakwah also leading the charges for the Women's League, and they did quite very well. We all remember Comfort Yeboah. Ima, what do you think?
Ampim Dakwah gave a good account of themselves. Last 2 years, the inaugural edition, we had Hazakes in the final. Ampim Dakwah tried last year, but they couldn't qualify. This year they made it, and they really did well. We know Comfort Yeboah, we know Jennifer Usua and the likes, Martha Dems. They did very well. We were hoping to see them in the final, but they couldn't finish in the final. I think, yeah, they did well. They did well. Yeah.
Well, I had one of the biggest moves that shocked us was Mohamed Kudus joining West Ham United. There was a number of controversies, Chelsea coming on board, Manchester United, and all. Were you surprised that he was going to be?
I think it's you look at the caliber of teams he was linked with, and where he ended up, you might be a bit surprised, because if you have Arsenal, Chelsea, Barcelona at some point, and all the other teams supposedly after him, and you land at West Ham, then that's a bit surprising. But West Ham isn't a bad team, and I'm sure with hindsight to come attest to the fact that it's a good move that he made. He's so far done well for them. He scored in their latest Europa League match, so that's another plus for him. Now he's carving a niche with his own style of celebration. So yes, it's a surprising move. You would think that from Ajax he was going to go up, but West Ham is also a good platform for him to make the next step towards his career. And I think maybe after this season or the next season, he could be in the £100 million range.
Well, we are hoping that maybe next year Mohamed Kudus will end up becoming Africa's best player. But one of the saddest news that hit the country was the death of Christian Achu. February, that was when the incident occurred. Ima, do you recall how the breaking news happened?
I mean, I was in the studio with Joel. I was in the newsroom with Joel, and we had the news. I mean, it's something we least expected. Yes, we heard of the earthquake, and we had done his goal. He scored a goal a night before that, so we had done the story. So when it came that Christian Achu hasn't been found and he's been stuck under the
Rubble,
and all that, I mean, it was devastating. But we had to gather, put our thoughts together, and then do the story. And Joel did the story. We were hoping to see to hear good news, and it turned out our brother has passed on. It was really, really sad for me, and I don't like talking about it. Given the way it happened and all that, yeah, it was really sad.
Eventually, well, there were news about his divorce with the wife and all that, but it was a great way that we put up the funeral, covering from the arrival of his remains and all that. But then when we thought everything was going to be smooth for us for the year to end, Raphael Dwamena also passed on. Perez.
I think Dwamena's story was a bit, sad. Achu, because of his profile and all the things that he had done for the national team, was perhaps the biggest one. But Dwamena was quite devastating, personally, because one of his closest friends is one of my buddies, and he was the one who texted him like, Charlie, this was up. When the moment I saw the story, I also saw his message like, Charlie, my guy, the thing happened. So we were all devastated. But I mean, there are a few things that we don't want to talk about, but there are lessons in there. We just hope that the Lord will find, will give him an eternal rest, and maybe one day when we believers of heaven and hell, when we meet, we can all rejoice and celebrate him for what he did. He had a short life. He was dedicated. What we can learn from him was his dedication to the sport. Despite all the challenges, he remained determined. He remained steadfast to the game, and that's what it's. I mean, it's good that you might say it's perhaps good that he died doing what he loved best, and that's for me. That's what he's going with, and that's what we're going to remember him for.
Oh, may his soul rest in peace and that of Christian Achu. But away from the sad news, let's look at the controversial moment in the year 2023, the GFA elections. Keto Kweku seeking re-election and got an opposition from George Efriye, who was later not allowed to contest.
Yeah, that's the politics in the GFA. But I mean, if you look at what Keto Kweku has done in the last 2 years, you might give him the benefit of the doubt to continue and see how best he can do in his final term. I mean, he has improved the women's football under Keto Kweku. That's the fact. If you look at the success of our women's football, I mean, it has improved. And even with the Black Stars, it's not been good. But if you look at the under-20s, the under-23s, they are all doing well. They are qualifying for the big stages, but it's up to them to improve when they get there. So it tells you he's doing something right. I think we have to support him and look forward to what he can bring on board as far as the national teams are concerned. But the real concern has been the local league, how he's managing it, how the promotion has been, and that's where the disappointment is. But for me, if you look at Keto Kweku, he hasn't been bad as a president. Yeah.
Well, still with the GFE, there was an issue with Stephen Appiah. Perez, I don't recall, but kind of bring it back.
I think Appiah made a statement and basically advanced an argument on why ex-footballers need to be, given frontal roles in the administration of Ghana football. And Nano Drosafo, who was an executive council member, made some comments that he claims he was misquoted and misunderstood. But I mean, it's a comment that most ex-footballers found derogatory, and the likes of Charles Taylor and all the other guys went in hard on him and told him their peace of mind. But I mean, you can look at it from different perspectives. Do our ex-footballers need some kind of recognition or some kind of platform in Ghana football? Yes, you look around the likes of Samuel Eto'o and all the other guys who are now playing leading roles in their respective countries, and they are not, in terms of what they did and in terms of their pedigree, the likes of Appiah might not be there, but they also did enough for Ghana football, and you would think that they should also have some leadership role, be an integral part of the running of Ghana football.
Well, let's talk about one of the guys who caught our attention, and that was Akraf Hakimi. And we'll mix that with Asamoah
Ashraf Hakimi. So we are talking about Ashraf Hakimi's divorce case.
And Asamoah one.
And if you look at his divorce case, it turned out he has registered, willed his properties in the name of his mother. So when the divorce case came, the wife couldn't earn anything from him, and I mean, people were hailing Ashraf Hakimi for being smart and all that. So I think, yes, Ashraf Hakimi has taught people lesson on how to live their lives and how to handle marriage situations. Although if you look at it from the female perspective, it looks like it's more disrespectful and all that. But I think, yeah, you did what you did, and I mean, it was a good trending story for us. Yeah. Well,
Asamoah was also in there. He ended up as the winner in his case. Well, a lot of people argue about that, but that was it. But well, we can't forget Isaac Dodbe and his father, Perez.
I mean, it's sad. It's one of the stories I don't like. Whenever I read a story I hear, but I don't like it because you wouldn't want that for yourself and you don't want a family. I mean, at some point they were the ideal example of how a father and his son should be. I mean, you couldn't mention Isaac Dodbe without mentioning his father. Wherever there was Dodbe, we all knew how integral and how the important role the father played in getting Dodbe to the level he got to. So as to how the relationship degenerated into how it became, it's a bit sad. But hey, I just hope that one day they'll be able to resolve the issue. These are families you wouldn't want to go into. They can just hope and pray that one day they can just come back together and they will be the father and son we know them to be, especially now that the father is a chief.
Well, let's wrap it all up with you take the last one, last baton. Perez will take the last one. Take the last baton on Isaac Adongo and Magua.
Yeah, Isaac Adongo and Magua. I think that was one of my best stories this year. seeing our parliamentarians exerting their football knowledge and, I mean, trying to translate that into handling economic issues, and see him compare the vice president to Harry Maguire because of Maguire's form. I think it was really fun moment, and I think the Manchester United player himself recognized that it was a joke and didn't take it personal. And I think Adongo came to apologize for comparing and for saying Maguire is not up to task and he's out of form and all that. And when Maguire picked up, he had to come and apologize, and Maguire accepted the apology. So I think, yeah, it was really fun covering that news and how Isaac Adongo handled everything as well as Maguire. It was really, really fun. Yeah.
Well, Coach Chris Hughton, as we began the show, we said that he was appointed, but towards the end of the year, after the games against Mexico and USA, people were saying that, well, we have to do away with him because we can't even tell his clear strategy. What's your take on that?
I think I've always been biased against him because I'm against defensive-minded coaches. I don't like coaches who think, okay, I call them, who play negative football. And that's what he's known for. And that's why I think that whoever engineered the move for Chris Hughton to be appointed as Black Stars coach did not understand the current state of the Black Stars, because we have an attacking team being coached by a defensive-minded coach. And that's why we encounter the problems that we are, and that's why we're going to continue. That's why some of us think that whether it's 1 day to the AFCON or 2 days to the AFCON, it should be sacked, not because of the result, but because purely based on coaching ideals and what he stands for. It's at variance with the materials we have now. It's like somebody where they like slingers, so you give out balloon, you no go work. You don't go work. So that's why some of us think it should be changed.
Well, guys, this is where we wrap up on the review for the year in sports. Well, hopefully, 2024 we started on a very big note. The Black Stars will be playing at the 2024 AFCON, and trust GhanaWeb to bring you a comprehensive coverage of the 2023 AFCON. Until then, my name is Joseph Adamafi, and I did this with Perez Ezwakwao and Emmanuel Ene.